losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time. It can be done. In this video, I'm going to show you how I've managed to do it with some of my client results, which you can see on the screen right now. Knowing what to do with your body is hard. It's hard when you look at it and decide, should I bulk? Should I cut? Like this guy on the right, as you look at it, you know, kind of looks like he would need a bulk. There's not really that much tissue around. Maybe this guy on the left's got a little bit more, but it's hard to know what to do. And once you've made that decision, it's even harder to like execute on that plan. So it's like, okay, so how much do I need to eat? And then how much of each carbohydrate, protein, and fat do I need to eat? When do I taper my calories lower in order to see illicit response? And then when I am in the depths of this plan and I'm really fucking hungry and I think about giving up, how long do I need to go on for? When am I going to expect to see the result? What's the weekly percentage drop of body fat I can expect to see? Like right now, from personal experience, I'm in the depths of a cut. I'm about 13 weeks in and we're getting very, very close to the end. But honestly, having my own coach is an absolute lifesaver. Like having him there with me in order to tell me what to do at this point and to push me further than where I think I'm capable of taking myself, absolutely priceless, boys. So I can't stress enough how important having a coach is. But the same would go for bulking. Like, when do you increase food? Because it's not just a case of just eat loads and lift and you'll get big. I mean, you could say that's not a backbone of it, but to be honest, you'll just end up getting fat unless you really know how to train properly. So now let's go another level deeper. Why do we want to get in shape? And it's probably to feel more confident in social situations. Blah, blah. So if social settings are where you're going to have your top off, now we can't afford to fucking miss, can we? If your holiday, when you watch this, is in anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks and you had a good Christmas, we can't afford to miss, boys. Okay, so it adds another layer of pressure to being able to execute and get this result when maybe we don't already have the knowledge to do so. But let me tell you, it can be fucking done, as stated in the before and afters. Even if you've not trained before or you haven't trained for a while, if anything, you will probably get an even better result than somebody that has been training quite consistently. So we're going to break it down now. We're going to go into the video, what you need to do in order to set yourself up, how to eat, how to train, some other baseline bits about your output, and then what sort of a result you could expect. So let's roll into the meat of it, boys. The next thing we are going to look at then, we need to assess the setup and we're going to need to assess your physique, how it is looking. First question, boys. Are you 8 to 10% body fat right now? If the answer is no, guess what? You need to pull that body fat off. When you get leaner, you look bigger, you look better, more defined, you're more responsive to training stimulus, you're more responsive to insulin, which means your body will utilize carbohydrates more effectively, shuttle nutrients into the muscle and allow you to develop. So if you're not, you need to get down to that point. The next question you need to assess is how much muscle mass do you have? And then from there, we can work out a time frame. So if I go back to this image here of this guy here, he was sat around 20% body fat. It might not look it too much from the front. If you looked at the side shot, this gut is out here. Tissue, not really that much at all, okay? So what we needed to do was firstly assess his physique relative to where he's limbering up against these pre-recorded ones, which I've already got. He was sat around the 20% body fat mark, maybe a little bit more. I believe he was around 21. And we already had his scale weight, so we need your scale weight to do so. So 20% body fat, 91 in kilograms, his lean muscle mass, 72.8. Remember, we want to be around 10% above that number come the end to look next level. RMR, this is how many calories you need just for normal daily function. This is non-negotiable. You can't really take it lower than this or it gets unhealthy. How active are you within a given day? See where you limber up against this and then put yourself in. Most average people are going to be on a 155. This number times together gives you a maintenance amount of calories. And then from there, we're going to want to put you in a deficit. Now, we could go in a more aggressive deficit for this guy because he's 20% body fat. For the other guy in the photo, it was a little bit less. Now, one thing I always advocate of, don't go so aggressive to start with. Sometimes we say drop 1% of the scale weight per week. But if that puts you down at like 1,000 calorie drop, maybe you don't need to go that much in the beginning. I would always state, go a little bit higher, give yourself a bit more food to play with, because food is fuel. Fuel will drive performance in the gym. Driving performance in the gym will build muscle tissue and allow you to push. If we take your food too low too soon, you've also got nowhere to go with it, which means when you do need to pull food because the body fat's not shifting, you're going to have to go even lower or increase output even higher. But you are going to look to increase output before you take away any more food. With this guy here, we can expect then that if he's 20% body fat and he's sat around 90 kg, 91 kg, we're going to need to pull this guy down at least 10%. And we need to remember that when you do drop your initial bit of weight, your first 2 kilos is just water, muscle glycogen, fluid leaving the body. It is not body fat, so we need to understand that. On a rough average, you can expect that 0.8 of a kilogram will drop 1% of body fat from the scale weight. So this guy's going to need to come down to at least 80 kilo, and to be honest, he was just a little bit lower that come the end of the transformation. Now, the scale weight we're not married to, it's just a data point. What we do like to see is the visuals and how you are looking from a visual standpoint. So, now we've got your initial setup. We know how many calories we need to be on to start with. We know what the expected drop per week would be. And this guy in the beginning, while you are at around 90, close to 100, even 80, you're probably looking to drop about 1 kilo a week, to be honest. And you will be able to do so while still with 215 gram of carbs, driving good performance in the gym, no problem. We now need to go on to your meal planning. So we know what your calories look like relative to this calculator. You could obviously use one online or message me about this one. And this is what we need to work off. This target here is very important, protein. We need to ensure that the protein is kept relatively high. The reason being, when you put yourself into a catabolic state, you need to give your body or your muscle a reason to physically stay on the bone and develop if it is not already there. This target here is set to lean mass, and we times that by 2.4. You can even take this a little bit higher than that, but generally speaking, this is a sweet spot for a lot of people. Fats are set to 25% of the total target. They don't need to go any more, but I would not take them any lower to keep hormones in a good space. The rest is then filled with carbs. Now, when you're building your meal plan, I personally have this guide that I like to go off. It's got protein sources relative to 20, 30, and 40 grams. And then how much you would need of that. All these weights are raw. Always weigh your food raw and uncooked. And you can piece together your proteins first. Go across to your fats, decide what fats you want to put into your diet. Fats fucking tasty. Generally, I stick to like dark chocolate and nut butters in my lit sweeter meals. You can have avocado. It depends what you like, if you're allergic to nuts or whatever. And then you're going to add in your carb sources. Now, just one trick when it comes to carbohydrates. The carbohydrates you have around the meal, the workout, and the carbohydrates you have during the day can be slightly different. There is something that's known as a GI scale, a glycemic index, and if the carbs are higher on the GI scale, it means they will digest faster and they will get into the bloodstream quicker. When is that useful? Before or after a workout, when you want to get those in nice and quickly. Other than that, you're going to want something that is more slow release. I'm not going to go into the depths of that now. That's a nutrition lesson. We just want to quickly get you set up on the nutrition front. After that, you want to think about your meal timings. If you're in a calorie deficit, I would try to push your meals back as much as you can. This morning is 8 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 6. Black coffee for now, litre of water, obviously before that. And meal 1 will go in around like 9 or 10. So we've pushed it back as far as we can. And then you want to try and eat every 3 to 4 hours. When you're around your workouts, pre-workout goes in no later than 45 minutes before. And post goes in ideally no later than around 20 minutes after. Supplements. What supplements should you take? The only one I would really say to take with certainty would be creatine monohydrate. Very good at improving strength. You can take it every day without really any issues at all. and forevermore. It is one of the most tried and tested things, and I won't go on to that because, again, this is just about getting you set up, but that is what I would do. The next thing we need to discuss is your workout plan and what training split will work well for you. Now, let's think about this logically, boys. We want to look good on fucking holiday with our tops off, okay? So, yes, train legs, but realistically, how many sessions do legs need? Probably once a week will be enough dosage. Where does a majority of the focus want to go to? Hitting all of the upper body movements twice per week. So in order to do that, set a split that will do that. The split I'm personally following, which I fucking love to do, is where I do push. So it's chest, delts, and triceps. Next day's pull, back, biceps. Day after that is legs. Day after that is rest. Day after that is chest and back blended together. And the day after that is arms and shoulders. And then a rest. And that's 7 days, 5 days on. Beautiful split. Amazing. If you are very new to training, you can probably get away with a 4-day split, doing a full body push and a full body pull times 2. Okay, next thing we're going to speak about is tempo, range of motion, and intensity. And this is specifically how you are performing your exercises within your training split. Now, to illustrate the point of all 3 of those movements, I'm going to show you an exercise here. So, the first thing we need to think about is tempo. That's how fast the rep is being done. If you look here, I come down from the top, 3, 2, 1, pause at the bottom, 1, and a drive back up, 1, 2, with a 1-second squeeze at the top. All your reps want to look like this. Now, when we think about range of motion, that's essentially how much we can stretch the muscle relative to the joints around it. When we're doing a dumbbell chest press, for example, we want to bring our arms in at around 45, like mine are here, in order to take it for a full range of motion. If your arms are flared out at right angle, all the way out here, you're not going to be able to do so. And we need to have that thought in mind throughout every exercise. Am I taking this joint, this movement, this muscle through the full range of motion that it possibly could? More distance traveled will result in more gains. And then the last thing we need to think about is the level of intensity. Are we taking them to near fucking failure? Are we getting after the reps, in order to elicit some form of change in muscle growth? Because if you don't, the body will not have a reason to change, and it won't fucking change, boys. So you need to ensure you get these 3 right. And the last point you need to do is track everything. Obviously, you're going to track your food, so your calories on. You probably already knew that. You need to track your lifts in the gym. Get your workout. Download an app called Strong. It's free. Put your workouts into there. Log the weight. Log the reps. If you can put some notes on how that set was, then do that too. But that is important that you do so. Output. So each day you're going to need to cover a certain amount of steps. On average, ideally with clients, they sit around 10,000, and I don't tend to change that too much unless they get to the very depths of the end of the cut. The reason being, just from a time perspective, walking more than 10,000, not always feasible for people with busy jobs. However, what is a very good tool to use is cardio. And initially, I would try and increase cardio before I pull food. So with the cardio, it wants to be something that you can do daily, something that does not accumulate too much fatigue. With that, we manage it through a heart rate zone of around 120 to 130. Again, this is stuff I've learned from trial and error, from having a coach myself. And you're going to want to do something like a bike, cross trainer, or elliptical, I've heard it called, or like an incline treadmill. 20 minutes is where I'd start, and I'd progressively overload that time to see more of a change as the weeks go on. Now, one thing I'll mention is sleep. Obviously, that's not output. You could say sleep is input, but you need to nail this down. If you are fucking tired and you're dieting, the chances of cheating are a lot higher. The chances of missing things are a lot higher. The chances of it being less productive in that day are a lot higher. So do get your sleep, and I would say also the hydration is also another big thing. Probably if you're the average guy, like weight similar or look similar to me, you need around 4 litres a day minimum. If you're not doing that, start fucking doing it, and it'll actually change your life. And definitely have that litre of water in the morning when you wake up. You will really fucking feel it, boys. Let me tell you that for free. This is the point we want to get you to at the end, looking like a fucking G, ready for your holiday. This was me yesterday, current condition. So we're looking nice. We're in a good space. So there you have it, boys. That is the plan we use in order to do the body recomp. Now, if you want to give yourself a better chance of getting in great shape, looking like a fucking G on your next holiday, and want to eliminate the guesswork on how much fat you need to lose, how long that's going to take, how many calories it is, Because if you've had a good fucking Christmas, boys, they may be longer than you think, and you may need to start now with it being 5th of Feb, ready for the summer. Depends when your holiday is. So you can apply to work alongside me, and I will take all the guesswork out for you and get you looking like a fucking G. Hit the first link in the description. It should be a booking link to a call through Calendly. And if nothing else, follow me on IG for more fucking daily tips, which will be going on. But anyway, nice to see you, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Boom, 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 boom.